You guys, okay, I think I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. I have looked everywhere. I've looked everywhere for my paper and I can't find it. So anyway, hi YouTube, Ember Honey Raven, the big fat witch again. I was just looking for a piece of paper that had a list of all the stores on it that I went to in New Orleans. And I had it sitting right here on my table and now it's gone. So apparently I put it somewhere or whatever. So yeah, that's okay. I looked under here and I don't see it either. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll do this from memory. So this is going to be my massive New Orleans voodoo, witchy, hoodoo, spiritual haul. I got a lot of really badass items. I also did some items in my other video. It probably will take me a long time to post these because I have shitty internet where I live. But I wanted to share this with you and go from there. So I probably will not do this in order because I am, you know, I'm just like that. So this is the store that I actually do not remember the name of. It was something about Du Vampire. It was a vampire store. I want to say it was either on Dumaine or maybe St. Anne's Street in New Orleans. It was a gorgeous little shop. It was very, very small, but everything in it was handmade by local artists, or most everything. The lady that worked there was fantastic. She was very helpful. And so I picked up this little stained glass magnet. And if this looks familiar to you, it should, because apparently the show True Blood bought one of these to hang on the refrigerator in their bar for the show. So see the little Austrian crystals that are blood drops? This was a little bit pricey, but I think it's well worth it if it's made by a local artist and it's stained glass. And you know what? I just love it. You know, I think it's a lot of fun. So anyway, I think this was like $20 or $30. It was expensive for a magnet. Oh, and it does have magnets on the back so you can hang them on your fridge. But you know what? I loved it. And yes, it was expensive. Everything in that shop was kind of pricey, but they had beautiful, beautiful items in there. So that's the only thing I got at that shop. Because, you know, again, pricey. So, hold on. Okay. Y'all, I think my dog is shedding because it's like, I feel like I've got dog hair in my mouth. So let me get a drink of my Nectar of the Goddess Diet Coke. Yes, you have to say it in that voice, or it's Nectar of the Goddess Diet Coke. I'm being silly, sorry. The next thing I want to show you, this came from Papier plume, which paper plume basically, or pen plume or whatever. It was like a paper and stationery shop, and it was on 842 Royal Street. Here's the little box. So we went in just to look around. There were some very expensive items in that shop, but there were also items that were not expensive. For instance, I got this. So this is a little pen. This is a dipping pen that I've got to figure out how to get in here. Let me see if I can get it in. Yeah, this is a dipping pen. And it was all of $10, and it is beautiful, as you can see. It was $10, and I have some Dragon's Blood ink and an inkwell that I would really like to... I'm looking to see who this is. Hope this is not... We have had a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses lately coming up to the house, and I've been trying to politely turn them away, and they don't seem to be getting the hint. So, you know, I've got pinnacles and stuff hanging outside, and a lot of like gay pride stuff, and I'm hoping that they'll get the hints. I think if okay, it's not them. I was going to say, if it was them, I'm about to have to just go, you know, please stop coming to my house. So, anyway, plus I think that's just rude. Don't just run up, you know, just because someone has a house, don't just think you can go knock on their door and try to sell them something or give them some Jesus cards or something. I don't want to be bothered in my house. Thank you. So anyway, that was my $10. Sorry for the rant, you guys. My ADD is in like huge overdrive today. So $10 for this. I'm going to use this. This will be dedicated for spell writing and such. So I thought that was gorgeous. We went also to the Voodoo Museum, and I think it was Voodoo Temple and Museum. Now, they have a couple of Voodoo temples. maybe 2 or 3 temples in New Orleans. One of them is run by Priestess Miriam. She is a voodoo priestess. She's in her 70s. She's pretty fabulous, very well respected. Her temple, there's a little store in the front, and it's tiny. It's the size of a bedroom, but they have a lot of really cool things in there. This stuff I'm about to show you actually came from the Voodoo Museum. They claim to be one of the world, or the only voodoo museum in the world. I believe that. The Voodoo Museum was fantastic. There was a lot of Marie Laveau paraphernalia there. There was a picture of Priestess Miriam. There were some human skulls. There were a lot of religious and spiritual items in there that were just fantastic, amazing. They had a really badass stump, and it was like a cypress stump. And if you've ever seen a cypress, they have like these little knees that almost look like petrified wood that come up out of the ground. Well, this particular, I don't know if it was a giant knee or if it was a stump, but it was about 4 feet tall, and the middle of it was hollow. And so they had a piece of paper there where you could write your wish or, you know, ask for a blessing on this piece of paper, and then you fold either $1 or some coins or whatever into the paper, and you drop it down into the stump, and your wish comes true. So I did that. I thought that was really kind of cute, and the museum was only $5 to go through, and it was like 3 or 4 little rooms, but they had some amazing items in there. There was a display of voodoo dolls. Some of them looked very, very old, like from the 1800s. You are allowed to take photos in there, so if you ever get down there to go to that, you know, check it out. It's really awesome. They had a store in the front of the Voodoo Museum that also had some really amazing items in it. Again, I'm sorry for this hair. I'm usually have it tied up, but just got out of the shower and I wanted to let it down and let it air dry. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm a redhead again, or at least on my way there. So in the front of this shop, I found a box that had bags of snakeskin. Shedded snakeskin. I bought all they had because I usually have to get it on eBay, and I hate doing that because, you know, whatever. So I bought 5 little bags of shedded snakeskin. I think they were $1 a bag. And I was just like, that's awesome. You know, snakeskin is used for a lot of different purposes. The lady at the temple said that this is you know, in voodoo, they believe that animal sheddings, skin, shells, bone, teeth, eyes, fur, anything that comes off of something that once lived is called a juju, and it will often hold the spirit of the animal. Snakes are really good for protective properties in voodoo, and I'm just repeating what this lady told me. And they are good for fertility, obviously. I have also used snakeskin in my meditation oil because snakes are also, you know, they're creatures of the underworld in a way. They are low to the ground, and you know, I just put a little piece of shedding in my meditation oil, and when I feel like I may want to do some deep meditation on something, this helps me go down a little deeper. You know, again, it could be psychosomatic, but this is what works for me. So I now have, you know, a decent little supply of it, and you can cut it up into lots of pieces and have a lot. I also got a fixed chicken foot, and all of their stuff had already been fixed, blessed, whatever. A lot of the chicken feet in New Orleans have, you know, something shiny on the end that is to reflect bad things back, and then they're tied off, and they'll usually be a little amulet or a jewel. These are dehydrated. I have another one that I've already put in my car. Chicken feet are really good for protection. They're really good for luck, but they're good for safe travels, and depending on the color, this one has a purple color. I am going to use this when I do, you know, if I get on my mugwort pillow and I want to have some prophetic dreams, I'm going to use this to help me with that, but also to protect me from, you know, sometimes you'll have dreams and things will come in through your dreams that you're really not having. I'll just say that, you know. Negative things will sometimes try to get into your head through your dreams. So it's good to have, you know, a little amulet or a totem or a juju of some sort next to your bed. And plus, I just love these. This was like $12 or $13. They're expensive. I didn't mind paying that since this had already been fixed. You know, but anyway, there's your chicken foot. And then I got this little matchstick doll. It's a little voodoo doll that's made out of a matchstick, and I'll read you the little thing. It says, you put hair of the person that you want to affect in the right side of the doll. Write down the spell you want on parchment paper with red ink, and then use the white pen for positive, black for negative, and yes, there is a black pen in here and a white one. Strike the match and then call the spirits to help with the ritual. So basically, you'll burn the doll. Now, if you've studied voodoo, you know voodoo does have a light and a dark side. I know a lot of witches and a lot of pagans and folks that work with hoodoo that do not work with any type of dark aspects whatsoever. You know, this doll might be something that, you know, I may not use. I would not use this for a negative purpose, but, you know, I may, you know, I may use this as a positive thing for maybe a friend. Maybe I want to help her feel more positive about her body. So I may write that down and then light the match and, you know, burn that and release the spell into the air to her. So this was $4. These, and again, everything in that voodoo temple / museum was put together by actual practitioners. It was all locally made. So, you know, I love stuff like that. I love that it's not mass produced. So that's all. So that's all I got there. I now want to talk about, we went to Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. And if you've ever been to New Orleans or know anything about Marie Laveau, she was the premier voodoo priestess of New Orleans. She was born in, I think, 1710 and lived to 1782 or 92. She was a Virgo, which I found out, which was awesome because I'm also a Virgo. And Marie Laveau was just, she was a hairdresser, but people went to her for blessings and spell work, and she was just a very magical woman. She had a daughter who was also a voodoo priestess. And just, you know, read up on her if you don't know anything about her. She's pretty badass lady. We went to the site of where her old home used to be on the corner of Bourbon and Canal. No, Bourbon and St. Anne. There, where the site of where her home used to be is now a voodoo shop called Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. I had gone to the shop. I go to it every time I go to New Orleans because obviously it's, you know, it's awesome, and they have the most amazing Marie Laveau shrine in the entire world inside that shop. You can also light a candle and things of that nature. I went to that, the last time I was there was again 11 or 12 years ago when I last visited New Orleans. And I have to say I was pretty disappointed this time in what I perceived to be a pretty significant change in the shop. The last time I was there, they had chicken feet like this that were, you know, in their raw form. They had a couple of fixed ones. They had mojo bags, things of that nature. They had fertility candles in the shape of penises. They had the yonis. They had, in my opinion, a lot of items in that shop that could actually be used for practice. This time that I went, I actually really struggled to find anything in that shop that I actually wanted. I did find some items, and I'll show you. One of the items that I found that I was actually really happy about was I found this giant Rose of Jericho. And I say giant only because, you know, look how big this is. This is a big-ass Rose of Jericho. If you've never used a Rose of Jericho, it's basically, I think they call these an Ennead. I can't remember the name of it, but you put it in water, and there's a little instruction thing that you can put it in water at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday or Friday. Leave it in the water, and it will actually come to life and rebirth. You can also break off pieces of Rose of Jericho for hoodoo, witchy, pagan, you know, voodoo, whatever purposes. And you can use Rose of Jericho in oils. You can put them in candles. And they are a really good rejuvenation type of thing. They are really good for easy births, easy pregnancies. They're really good for renewal, rebirth. This was $8. That's, you know, decent. And it was a pretty big piece. So I was happy about that. I think I'm going to put everything I show you kind of off to the side so that I don't get, you know, don't get confused. I also picked up this Voodoo Night, Noche de Voodoo oil. This is from Indio. And yes, you can buy this at Indio for like $1.95. However, anytime I've ever tried to buy this from Indio, they've either been out of it or it's been out of production or whatever. This was $4, so they're making a huge profit on it. But considering that I have not been able to get my hands on this on the actual Indio, you know, from Indio products, I went ahead and bought it from Marie Laveau's. This oil could be used to anoint, for instance, if you wanted to use a voodoo doll or a string doll, you could anoint the doll with this or anoint yourself, you know, however you want to use it. I also picked up some, this is an anil, an azul, one of the blue balls. You can put these on your nightstand at night to keep bad dreams away. They have a lot of different purposes. You can break them up. This was like 50 cents or something. I also have they said this was a badger tooth. I'm not sure what kind of tooth this is. This was a tooth. It was $1. I don't know if it's a badger tooth. I'm going to have to ask my partner if she remembers what they said, but, you know, I wanted it because it was a tooth. And then we had some beans, and these are, they called them mojo beans, but there's a name for these, and I'm going to have to look, dried beans. I also got from there, these are coffin nails. I went ahead and got these. They look like rusty nails, but I just thought, you know, they were cute. They were really expensive. I would not buy these again. I had had a couple of hurricanes at that time, so I might have been a little more free with what I bought, if you get my drift. So yeah, this came, oh, you know what? This actually came from Reverend Zombie's Voodoo Shop, which was around the corner from Marie Laveau's, and it apparently was owned by the same people. So, yeah. I don't know if it was owned by the same people. I shouldn't say that. I will say that when I asked them about their chicken feet, Marie Laveau's did not have one chicken foot in their whole house, so they actually sent me around the corner to Reverend Zombie's Voodoo Shop, which is where I ended up buying chicken feet. As you can see, these have been painted purple. I asked them, why have these been painted purple? And the lady in the store told me that the natural feet that had not been painted, which would be like this, freaked out the customers, so they painted them purple to make them less freaky. So, you guys, I went ahead and bought a couple of them because I had a really hard time finding chicken feet in New Orleans, which very much frustrated me. Yeah, so I got those. And then they had a bunch of these like pre-made mojo bags, which I went ahead and got one. They're, yeah, I don't know. These are Dr. John's mojo bag. Sold as a curio. This one's for creativity. Dr. John was a contemporary of Marie Laveau and often had friendly competitions with her over the supremacy of the voodoo community. It was said that he specialized in ambulance that handled the most difficult cases. I got this. I'm probably going to give this as a gift. I probably won't keep it for myself. I prefer to make my own mojo bags. And, yeah. Needless to say, oh, and then there was this fist of, what was this called? Fist of Strength or whatever. I'm going to have to look this up. This little fist you're supposed to either carry with you in your pocket or put on a mojo bag. And it is good for protection. It was incredibly expensive. My partner wanted it. I would not buy this again. I think it was $10. That's crazy to me. I mean, it's a tiny little, you know, I don't even know what, maybe it's made out of stone or something. Maybe it's obsidian. Maybe that's why it's expensive. Anyway, I'm not trying to trash talk Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo because I love that store, but it has definitely changed its flavor in the last 10 or 11 years. I was disappointed to find that they do not carry a lot of the candles that they used to carry. They do not carry a lot of hoodoo supplies. It was very touristy. There was a lot of mass-produced junk in there. It just, you know, the mass production of totems and curios is just bullshit. I just really wish that they would, you know, maybe they try to do that to keep things cheap for tourists because I know some of the locally produced stuff is really expensive. But, you know, it's disappointing to go in somewhere and be excited and then you get in there and it's just like, oh shit, this shit's from China, you know. So anyway, that was from Marie Laveau's and Reverend Zombie's. Now, they did give me this little prayer card that has a picture of Marie Laveau, which I actually really dig. And it has a little prayer on the back of it. Oh, she was born September 10th, 1801. So I was about 100 years old. I said 1701, sorry. 1801. Yeah, so this is actually cool. I'll keep this. And let me see. Okay, I think I'm going to stop this video and make a second one because this one's already 20 minutes and it's going to take like 3 days to upload. So let me do that. And thanks for watching, and I'll be back in just a moment.